Extremes fascinate us in baseball. The shortest versus the tallest, the heaviest versus the lightest, the weakest versus the strongest. We constantly are trying to find and share narratives about our favorite sport, as it makes what happens on the field that much richer, when there's more at play than the already interesting face-offs on the mound and in the batter's box. It was probably this urge to explore the extreme that led me recently to try to find the greatest disparity in height ever registered at the major league level, and I think I may have found it. Or, in this case, them. Because, you see, I believe there's a two-way tie here, as 5'5", sometimes 5'6" second baseman Jose Altuve has twice faced off against pitchers a foot and a half taller than him, which is going to be what we're looking at today. Let's start first with when he faced off against 6'11" John Roush, who was tied for the tallest player in MLB history, way back in 2012. In this case, the broadcast certainly made a pretty big deal of the matchup, showing graphics and at multiple points cutting to side-by-side comparisons. As far as the actual at-bat went, Altuve would take a fastball at 91 miles per hour for strike one before working the count to 1-2, eventually flaring a little line drive to first base. Human Skyscrapers 1, Tiny Terror 0. But this wouldn't be the last time Altuve would face somebody who's 6'11", as 12 years later he got a chance to face off against Sean Jelly on the fittingly named Giants. He first would take a two-seam fastball high for ball one, with this angle provided by the camera crew giving a pretty good display of exactly the height difference between these two. After painting another mid-90s sinker over the low and outside corner to get the count back even, Jelly would induce a hard ground ball back to the mound, which he would field and flip to first, ending the inning and their matchup. It's also worth noting here the broadcast really didn't make a big deal of their face-off here, in stark contrast to Altuve's first face-off against somebody this height. The funny thing is, Altuve has actually dominated taller pitchers throughout the course of his career, but in these two matchups, he wasn't able to get the best of the absolute biggest opponents he's ever faced. Now, does any of this mean anything? No, not really. But it is a funny little quirk, and in my opinion worth detailing for nothing else but the fun of exploring some of the weirder aspects of the game we all love.